We are seeing the first big dip after rate cuts. Now, if you've watched the previous videos on this channel before the rate cuts, we did kind of predict that there could be a little bit of volatility. We saw some upside immediately after rate cuts, but now we are seeing a little bit of a dip. But this is really par for the course. I think that this is nothing to fear about. So in this video, I'm going to go over why I think the bull market for Q4 is still on the coins that I'm looking at, because there are a lot of good discounts out there right now for some really top protocols. So we'll go over why I think the bull run has not concluded. This is not the top. The rate cuts do not mark the Pico top of this bull market. But on top of that, the projects I'm looking at for accumulation. So without further ado, let's jump into it.
And we'll keep today's video short and sweet for you guys and actionable as always. But before we jump into it, be sure to drop down below, hit that like button, and subscribe to the channel for more every single day here on In the Game. We have you covered top to bottom, everything you need to know in this market to be able to win throughout this bull run. So like and subscribe down below. And of course, a big shout out to our sponsors here on the channel. We have some incredible sponsors from Nexus Labs, the platform we use every single day. Also, I give out some exclusive alpha here on this platform. We have 𝗕𝗏𝗏, the derivatives exchange from CoinW, and of course our centralized exchange partners over at Bluefin. To me, the best centralized exchange trading experience on the market, and you can literally sign up and get up to $1,000 bonus plus $9,000 in USDT reward using our link down below in the description. If you are in the US, you might not have a centralized exchange that is a go-to for trading because they annex a lot of people due to KYC and jurisdictions. So if you need a place to trade from anywhere in the world, you can check out Bluefin down below in the description. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. So as mentioned in the intro of the video, obviously we are seeing the first dip here after rate cuts. Now, the rate cuts, every single time we have had interest rate cuts throughout the duration of crypto's life cycle, literally every single time we see a little bit of a retracement on the charts, and then we see a very good move to the upside. Now, I think this is going to be no different, just to keep it short, sweet, and simple for you. On the last video we did on Thursday, everything here was green, like daily, weekly, monthly, everything was in the green. And now everything's in the red. How quickly things can change in this market. But to me, like Raoul Pal says, same thing happens all the time. The crypto market is focused on a big breakout. It gets leveraged long. A lot of people went leverage long. And I also think the new coin, Aster, put a lot of greed into the market. People who missed that trade, put in a ton of leverage, whatever the case is, get leverage along ahead of it, and it fails at first attempt, so everyone gets liquidated. We saw that. We saw a ton of money liquidated in the market this morning, and only then does the actual breakout occur, leaving everyone sidelined. I think that this is par for the course, and I love this tweet here. Damn, crypto is down so bad. I haven't seen prices like this since 2 weeks ago, right? So I think we really have nothing to really worry about in the long term. I think this is a generational shakeout, and crypto is fully to be suppressed while every other asset class has made all-time highs. I think that we are really gearing up for that next leg up. And regardless, if you think the market is topped, there's still going to be plenty of opportunities. So focus less on if the market top is here or if your portfolio is topped, because you can always find trades in the market like an Aster, like an Avantis. There's so many different opportunities regardless. But I do truly believe what GCR is saying here on this tweet. GCR, obviously legendary trader, great voice in the market, and he says, if you've been sidelined, believe this is a good opportunity to scale into high conviction tokens. If you're fully invested, just survive. Hold your spot positions and do not capitulate. Someone once said that liquidations are a forced transfer of wealth from traders who need leverage to wealthy spot buyers. I was enjoying retirement from social media, but don't want to see my brothers get shaken out when the future is still so bright. And I do agree 1,000%. And that's also why, like, trading with leverage is a dangerous ballgame. Liquidations are a forced transfer of wealth from traders who need leverage to wealthy spot buyers. I think that that is a very, very true statement. And look, the market has not changed. If we continue to get rate cuts throughout the rest of the year, I totally think that we are on par for alt season heading into October and November. I think we should see an explosive run around those times. My key dates to look at for potential times where the market could get frothy would be right around the holidays, whether it's Thanksgiving or Christmas. We'll have to just see where the market is, the signs of euphoria, the quote unquote top cycles at that point in time. But we still see every single week Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy acquiring 850 more Bitcoin for basically $100 million here. We see some of our top conviction plays getting even more institutional adoption. So HiveMind will lead a $550 million strategy with 𝗪𝗔𝗪, which is the first NASDAQ listed company dedicated to maximizing ownership of Avalanche. Yes, the red coin in our background every single day, the native token of the AVAX network. The company will be renamed AVAX1 after deal closing. And look, this is a really good sign. Not only are we seeing adoption across stuff like Hyperliquid, 𝗬𝗎, Solana getting picked up, Athena getting picked up by major entities on the NASDAQ, but now we're seeing Avalanche full-fledged. We saw Scaramucci bring his hedge fund onto AVAX. We also see now AVAX1, $550 million fund to accumulate AVAX, basically. A $550 million strategy fund dedicated to maximizing the ownership of Avalanche. This is incredibly bullish. And even during this pullback, we are maintaining over that $30 level. I think that AVAX is just clear air once we turn around until 50. And then from 50 to 100, it'll be really interesting to see how quickly we can close that gap as well. Obviously, all-time highs on Avalanche are about $120. I do think throughout this cycle, that is a realistic target to try to hit those all-time highs. We haven't seen Ethereum all-time highs. We haven't seen Solana all-time highs. We haven't seen Avalanche all-time highs. We haven't even seen 𝗬𝗎 all-time highs. 𝗬𝗎 sitting at $330. The all-time high is only $5. So to me, this is a clear sign that we have so much more upside to come. And just looking at this dip, guys, like 13% down on the month now. 𝗬 was just trading at 360. Now it's at 314. We see stuff like IMX now still in the green, but taking a 10% retrace. This thing was performing really well over the month. Obviously, Aster still doing well, but looking at stuff now down 3% on the daily on Avalanche. We see Hyperliquid taking a little bit of a dip here, down 10%. And look, I think that this is something worth talking about. I've seen a lot of comments on Twitter. I've seen a lot of comments in some of the YouTube videos from the past about Hyperliquid. And look, I'm a simple person. I'm not a maximalist, and I want to preach this to everyone because whether you hold a gaming coin, a L1, L2, doesn't matter, okay? You can't just think one track mind. Like, I'm only gonna use Avalanche for an example. I'm a big Avalanche fan. I think the network adoption, the price really should be higher. Like, that is just a legit, I think that there's no question about that. But I still am in on Ethereum, Solana, Hyperliquid, I'm not in on Cardano, AVAX, 𝗬𝗎, you know, like there's plenty of other blockchain networks that I am, you know, invested into because you can't just take one competitor and run it to the finish line only, okay? Competition is a good thing. So I see this segmentation and really this maximalist mentality, tribalism almost, on the timeline between Hyperliquid and Aster. And I tweeted this: I'm a simple guy. I hold Hype and I hold Aster, okay? I enjoy gains, and these are two of the top protocols that are gonna be here throughout the rest of this bull market. So quit acting like you have to pick a side, okay? I am still full-fledged on Hyperliquid, okay? My leverage longs are still open from 43, even on this dip, okay? Scaled a little bit of profits out of it when we were at that $55 mark, but regardless, my leverage long is still open on Hype from $43. We're still in the profit there. And on top of that, my spot position, I have not touched my spot position because I still believe in the thesis that perp dexes and buybacks will still lead this cycle. That's what we're seeing right now on the charts. If we go look at stuff like Avantis, AVNT, this is the Coinbase perp dex, okay? This thing is on a moon mission. It's over $2, basically sitting at all-time highs at $2 billion market cap. We obviously see Hyperliquid right now, which is its native perp dex. $15 billion and a $47 billion market cap, fully diluted. But Aster, it can't be ignored. And you can totally invest in both, okay? There is no sense in saying, I like 𝗪𝗓𝗓 Infinity, so I can't invest in, whatever, Immutable X, Ronin or Immutable. I have to choose one. That is totally not the case, okay? This Aster is the only token besides BNB, okay, that is fully backed and supported by Binance. 100% Binance-backed created tokens. This is on Binance Labs, okay? We see here BNB, BNB Chain, and Aster. So this is fully backed by Binance, and we know 𝗧𝗧 wants to compete here. Aster announced buybacks and a future airdrop. So if you're not already participating there, you're losing time. I do think that this is going to be absolutely massive heading into the top of this cycle. We see 1.1 million in revenue every single day. I think this will increase to these levels of about $5 to $10 million a day, and pretty impressive growth here as they're number 6 in the total revenue from different chains and protocols here. So they're right behind Axiom, the leading meme coin platform, Hyperliquid, their competitor, Pump Funds, Circle, and Tether, which are literally 2 of the biggest absolute companies in all of crypto beyond perp dexes. So I think all of this leads to, you shouldn't be ignoring it. And I know it's hard to, if you miss this trade, you're getting a dip right now. And I do think that $2, $3, $4 is very realistic here. The circulating market cap, even at $4, is still 50% of what Hyperliquid's circulating market cap is, okay? And if Binance is really going to support this thing, if 𝗧𝗧 is going to continuously tweet about it, look, I'm still in. I've only taken my initials out of my position. We got in at 20 cents. I first mentioned it here on the channel a couple hours later. It was at 30 cents. So there's still a lot of people who hopefully got involved with this. But I do think that Aster will end up being still one of the best trades of the cycle, even from here. Okay, so just keep an eye on the price. I'm very convinced and convicted on this product. But otherwise, we see 𝗕TA at $1. We see stuff in the gaming niche like Ronin, which, by the way, I think there's really only a couple companies that can do this and really get away with it, and that's Ronin. Look, Ronin buybacks. They're going to start using their treasury, which, by the way, is massive. The amount of revenue that they made from 𝗪𝗓𝗓 Infinity and from their chain over the course of time, they're beginning their own buyback plan. And this has been one of the biggest narratives in all of crypto. The best performing narrative of the cycle has been platforms with revenue that flow back into the chart, and they have an absolute war chest in their treasury. Ronin does remain one of the few gaming coins that I am bullish on. It has enough funds right now to literally go accumulate 2% of the circulating supply, and the treasury is becoming the strongest hand while removing the weakest. The Ronin treasury is unique because it gets a portion of all DEX and NFT volume on Ronin. We also see Swissborg backed 𝗪𝗓𝗏 that they're setting a rule here. Any revenue beyond 150% of operation costs goes straight into 𝗪𝗏𝗏 buybacks. That means as the business grows, so does the token. More revenue, more buybacks, more value to the 𝗪𝗏𝗏 holders. So as you can see here, I'm bullish on top protocols: Hyperliquid, Aster, 𝗕TA, 𝗬𝗧, 𝗬𝗏, AVAX. But moving on down the ladder, I'm looking at buybacks in smaller niches. Products like Ronin, products like 𝗪𝗏𝗏𝗏, WAGMI Games, they're going to start their buyback program. We see stuff like Wilderworld starting their buyback program. There's a lot of opportunity here in the market. And nonetheless, if you feel like you don't want to chase the Aster trade, okay, and look, I understand. It has done multiples. A lot of people are up a ton. You don't want to be quote-unquote exit liquidity. But despite the fact that 𝗧𝗧 and Binance are fully supporting this coin, if you somehow are reserved, you just don't want to chase it, whatever the case is, go participate on Aster. They're giving away tons of the supply in a future airdrop. So look, I think it's pretty worth it to just go interact with the platform. Even spot trades go towards airdrop credit. So at least check it out if you're sidelined on that. So that's what I'm looking at in the market. I do think, like what GCR said, I think it's a great time to look across the market. What do you have conviction in? This could be one of those final times to actually accumulate. And yes, a lot of people on YouTube, a lot of thumbnails, mine included sometimes, say like last chance, this. But this is traditionally the time in the market where right after a rate cut, we see a dip. this is probably one of those few opportunities that's giving you a final entry in to a parabolic October and November. That's what I'm thinking, and I just laid out my game plan, coins I'm looking at, and of course, I'm not wavering. My convictions here, I have spot positions, I have a couple leverage positions, but we're up pretty comfortably on. I'm gonna leave those open, and we're just gonna play it from there. So if you enjoyed the video, guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments, what coins do you think are of value right now? What are you doing in this point in time? Do you think Aster is topped? Do you think this is going to, potentially eat into Hyperliquid's market share? Do you think that the market is topped? Do you think that the bull market still hasn't even begun? I'd love to hear all your opinions in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys on the next one. As always, like, subscribe, play well, my friends, trade responsibly, and of course, stay bullish, my friends.